Sometimes passion is a curse.
Recorded live from the engine room in Broad Ripple, this is the Voices of Indy live stream hosted by Josh Gillespie. Voices of Indy is a show dedicated to giving you the opportunity to know the musical, visual, and theatrical arts of Indianapolis, Indiana. This week's guest is Weird Folk for the Weird Folk artists Malingo, Johnny, got it right
You got
this
it,
time.
yep.
I did. Sam and John.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy. Guys, I'm looking forward to this conversation. I've been looking forward to it since John was first on this show back in January. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you guys about IIE LLC. Today's episode is sponsored by Indianapolis Independent Entertainment. IIE LLC's goal is to help grow local DIY artists, freelancers, and businesses within Indianapolis and generate more paying creative opportunities. Their mission is simple: to establish a network of creatives to excel in areas of need and connecting them with other network members. This way, they can help to expand the local art and music scenes. IIE believes that by eliminating some of the intimidating barriers within the entertainment industry, more opportunities will be produced for local freelancers and businesses. This will help Indianapolis become the place to go for art and music in the Midwest. If you are interested in learning more, go to their website, indyent.com. That's INDYINDIEENT.com, and fill out a free application to discuss how you and IIE can redefine making it together. And again, this week, my guests are... I almost did it.
Sonny.
Sonny.
Yeah.
Sonny. No.
Sonny and Cher.
Sonny. Are the guys from Malingo. There we go. Just the guys from
There
Malingo.
you go, that works.
There it is.
Johnny, Sam, and John. Gentlemen,
Hello.
this is
Heyo,
Malingo.
hello.
I'm very excited to have you
This
on.
is some
Likewise.
of Malingo.
This is
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of Malingo.
Three
That's
of the
right.
five, that's right.
Three of the
Yeah.
five guys. Who are we missing tonight?
We're missing Josh and LJ. Josh plays drums for us, and LJ is bassist.
Okay. Well, I am thrilled that you guys could be here tonight, and I want everyone to know that there is a special musical performance coming up later in the show. It is a very intimate acoustic. Well, that's what you guys are, kind of in general, acoustic. You know,
And very
That's fair.
intimate.
no. So, for those who may not know who Malingo is, you've been around, Johnny, you've been around kind of for a while doing your own thing, but now the band has kind of grown. Who is Malingo? And what is Malingo?
Sure. So, it's kind of has been a bit of an evolution. So, I guess I first used the name Malingo as a band name, like all the way back in 2008. I recorded an album at the tail end of college. It was, pre-Spotify and all that. So all that exists are some hard copies floating around somewhere.
Oh, collector's items.
Yeah. So, from then for several years after that, music was just kind of like an outlet, a hobby or outlet. I didn't focus a ton on it. But then in about 2016, I started writing the album Faye, and that's when I kind of started taking it more seriously. And by the time that album came out, I knew that I had to make music like a regular part of my life.
Mhm.
And,
I understand that.
Yeah. So that's when I would say that's when it really started in earnest. Was around that time, and then about a year ago, I started getting the itch to play some live shows, and decided to get a band together to do that. And so that's how these guys came to be part of it. And so now we are a 5-piece band and taking over Indy. Yeah.
One gig at a time. Now,
That's right.
And that's the thing, is that you guys are, you're touring the local scene quite a bit. I mean, you're all over the place. I follow you guys on Instagram, and if you're not following them on Instagram, follow Malingo on Instagram.
Please.
Band.
Huh?
At Malingo the band.
Yeah, Malingo the band. Yeah.
Yes, Malingo the band.
Yeah.
But you guys you have a gig coming up on the 28th, March 28th.
Yep.
For those who are watching before March 28th, and then another gig in April. John is playing with me on Friday.
That's right. Everybody's playing. Everybody's playing. That's right.
Everybody's playing.
It's a band of musicians, man. It's
Uh-huh.
fun.
Yeah, it is. So, what has caused all this? You guys you're opening for some kind of big names and playing some big locations. How did that all come about?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, I guess. Well, I built up a good Spotify listenership and a good social media presence and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of already had that under my belt, which helped a ton. And then basically I knew like I wasn't going to be able to get like any decent shows for us until we could prove that we could play live.
Oh, sure.
And so mostly John set up our first show. We did a DIY show at McGowan Hall in Indianapolis, and
that was the first show.
yeah, that was our first show. So
no way.
Yeah,
And it sold out, by the way.
yeah, that's right. We sold it out.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we did that show, and I recorded it in our rig, and recorded a couple of video cameras too, and put that up online, and contacted some people at some different promoters around the city and stuff. And
Really?
they liked what they saw, and yeah, started booking us. So
That's exciting.
yeah, it's been
That is
awesome.
exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That is very exciting. How has that played out for you, John? I mean, I know you got the solo stuff going on, but I mean, are you able to work in the solo stuff with?
It's super fun. I feel like it's the right balance of,
For sure.
I don't know, just creative outlet and performing and playing. It's nice that I think we all kind of have a similar mind of what we're trying to kind of bring to the band and help it grow, and also not like to rush it.
Yeah.
Although it does feel like things are happening, like we were kind of joking on like the band group text, it was like we're playing at
Mousetrap February.
we were like playing at McGowan Hall, and it was like, that's a fun DIY show. It's a cool local venue that you can, get some fun music and people in. It was like, oh, here's this Mousetrap gig. Oh, here's the Hi-Fi. Oh, Hi-Fi Annex. And then we're like, well, screw it. What's next? Red Rocks. Then we're like, no, man, we're playing on the reddest rock of them all. We're playing on Mars next year, man. We're going. It was like a very entertaining couple days after that first gig of just like, to Johnny's credit too, of just being able to capture what we're doing live and everybody kind of working together to make it happen. It's been fun.
For sure.
Sam, how did you kind of find yourself in this band? You're the banjo player, metal banjo, as far as I'm concerned. Little inside humor from earlier in the show, or earlier. But how did you find yourself in the band?
Well, me and Johnny started talking in on Instagram a while back, and I'd already been doing a lot of busking and a lot of local gigs myself, and so it was a chance for me to get into something a little bit bigger, and also to give us one more person onto our pile of folks that have connections to this and that, and so basically just a lot of wandering around with my banjo tonka and picking up dollar bills wherever I could until somebody decided I was worth something, and I lucked out.
No, that's so cool. That's so cool. Johnny, how did you discover the guys in the band?
So, for Sam, in that case, actually, I use social media for like the way it's supposed to be used, like social networking, actually. And so I was just kind of reaching out to a lot of people in sort of like the Mousetrap scene, because there's a lot of like bluegrass players and stuff there. And so I was talking with a bunch of them, and then eventually the algorithm just started feeding me like banjo players and mandolin players and stuff.
Nice.
So I was just talking to all sorts of people, and Sam really caught my eye. I saw some of his videos, and then we have some, a few things in common or whatever, and he seemed like he would be a great addition for the band. So I reached out to him, and the first time he's like, "I'll think about it," and then I don't remember how long later I asked him again, and then all of a sudden he was all on board. And apparently he had seen a video, video of Miserlou online, and that sold him on it. So
Absolutely, you play it very well.
No, that's and you now let's talk about this real quick. And because I know that you and John go way back.
Oh yeah, yep.
So we'll get to that relationship here in a bit. But since you brought up Miserlou, and you had mentioned earlier that you've kind of brought the band together, as it is, but that means that you recorded all the previous albums yourself.
Yeah.
Including a cover of Miserlou on Dash Dash Dash.
Yep.
Which that's the official title for, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to think about it too. But.
Yeah.
That's right.
If anybody's wondering, there are actually like 3 dashes on the album cover, and we'll be talking about that here soon enough.
Right.
But what was it like to record all of these albums by yourself, learning? Did you have to learn any of the instruments going into it, or did you already have kind of a pretty decent knowledge, given that you seem to be fairly musical?
So I've played guitar for a long time, since I was like 16 or so. So I feel pretty proficient in that. and I was able to use a lot of those skills for banjo and mandolin and stuff. I'm definitely not nearly as skilled in banjo and mandolin, but I was able to kind of find ways to fake it and learn the songs, like able to play along to the guitar that I wrote basically. And it was cool. Like I really enjoyed, like, obviously, like I grew a ton as a musician doing that, month in and month out. And that was awesome, but it was also tiring. Like I already have like a lot on my plate between like the marketing and the writing the songs and recording and mixing and promoting and all that stuff.
I mean, it's a full-time job on top of what is probably already a full-time job.
Yeah. So it's very nice to be able to shop some of that out with people that are much more skilled in those instruments than I am. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so. John, I mean, I've had you on the show before. I love talking to you.
I love talking to you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah, try it.
And I'm glad to have you back, especially in this setting. How did you get connected in with the band? And the one thing that we really didn't discuss at all, I mean, we did discuss Malingo a bit when you were on before, but your proficiency on the mandolin.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I
right?
mean, it's we talked so much about kind of a bluesy guitar player that you are,
Right.
and then you pull out this bluegrass mandolin, and it's like a totally different side of you.
It's fun. I got a mandolin right before I went to college. It was like I bought one at Six Strings Down out in Plainfield.
Okay, yeah.
If you're a little guitar shop out there. But it was just like a used one. It was like a $60, little mandolin, and just played it. But it's such a fun instrument to play, like, because I play a lot of guitar and bass and other instruments. But it's just like playing mandolin is always fun. For it's like it is a joyful instrument to play and goof around on. And I really haven't played a lot of mandolin for a while. I always pick it up and kind of strum. But Johnny and I, like when we were kids, we started our first bands together, and we're just trying to like learn how to play music in his basement and just annoy our parents and stuff, which was fun. And we like kind of just tried to pick it up through the years, and it would always kind of come and go because sure. That's what happens. But for the Faye album, Johnny reached out, and was that kind of a little ways into the pandemic?
Yeah,
when
like
we were
right
recording
at the beginning of it.
Yeah, that summer of it or something.
Yeah, it's summer of 2020. Yeah.
And he just asked, can I play upright bass on it?
So you appear on the Faye album?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was sending me all the songs, and it was just awesome. Which is a beautiful album and has a lot of like heartwarming moments, and some of them that I, have some personal connections and memories about as well. So it was just fun to be a part of that, and being up in the attic, recording bass on a summer day and actually seeing someone at, a very weird time in the world, was really, really nice. So that kind of happened. And then Johnny had been helping me with some solo stuff with marketing, and, here's what's working for me, try this, this sort of, so we've just been staying connected for a long time still. And every month, he'd be like, here's a new song I wrote. Here's a new mix. So it's just Johnny like hashing it out or just working. It was like, my God, you're just a monster of creativity. Like, just here's another new song. I'd be like, oh, cool, man, cool. Hey, here's another new song.
Well, what else are you
cool,
supposed to do during the pandemic?
It was awesome. So then it was kind of time to get the band together. And initially I was going to play bass, and some personnel, worked and didn't work, and worked and didn't work. And then I ended up on the mandolin, which is a lot of fun.
And very glad he did.
Yeah. Me too.
And it's super fun to have an LJ on. Just like I feel like the way the group came together is like very, very fun, and just everybody's just kind of open to it, and all big ear players. Just listening to see what happens next. And I don't know. I think Johnny is like a generous creator. There's a lot of guidance in like these songs of how they sound, right? Because you've got the album, but also we're playing like with a full drum set and electric bass, and so it's just a little different setup on some of the songs, and
a little
bit
rowdier.
Kind of take it in this direction, and then also at like any moment, I feel like Johnny is also like, also do whatever you want to do because you can. I've heard you say it like a ton, like do whatever because you're probably better at that instrument than I am.
I was gonna say,
but there's not a lot of ego to say, like I feel like everybody tosses an idea out, or just is like, I was kind of thinking about something like this, and it's like, oh yeah, man, let's try it.
Sometimes we put down the knives that we stab ourselves with, and we're like, hey, could you please stop, buddy? It looks real rough.
Now, I mean, I was going to ask, what is it like to learn how to play songs that someone's already written and then try to recreate them? I mean, I'm kind of in the process of doing that myself,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to give my band members the freedom to explore the space.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you guys are proficient at what you do. Just do what you do with my music.
I think we've got, and Sam, I don't know how you feel about, like, I feel like we've got a good process of trying to like service the song that's written, and then Johnny too will be like, I'm kind of changing the song a little bit in this section because it makes more sense if we're all playing it versus what I recorded. I was like, cool. And then there's just some spots that are like, do what you need to do here, or here's a turn, and be like, really kind of stick with what's on paper, and we'll ride that through. And that's why, I don't know, that's my take on it. I just want the songs to sound good.
Yeah, the feelings I've gotten from it have been, it's, you don't want to mess it up because it's like exceptionally playing stuff off the Faye album, etc. Like, it's very heart-wrenching stuff some days. So it's like walking into a church and trying to be respectful of the situation, but it's still at the same time be yourself. So it could have been terrible and awful, and it could have been the most difficult thing I ever went through, but instead every single one of us is so busy perfecting ourselves that we don't have time to mess with anybody else, but that means that there's nobody watching our back either, and we all got to work ourselves. It's a good time.
Yeah. No, that's Johnny, how do you feel about like what you're hearing? And I mean, is this kind of a, you know, the experience that you experience in terms of letting, you know, your musicians kind of
Yeah, Johnny, tell him.
No, he hates it. He hates it. He's going to disagree. He's a tyrant. He beats us. And he said, don't say that, but help us. Josh, this isn't good, man.
holding
This
a
isn't a
small
safe
sign.
space anymore.
Oh man, how do I follow that?
The beating joke, or
that's Bon Jovi.
Yeah, exactly.
That.
It's been really cool, actually, and it's another way that the band has kind of evolved, because like when I first thought of doing live shows, I was thinking of having an upright bassist and someone playing like djembe or hand drums and stuff, because that's what the recordings really mostly do, and that's what I kind of first envisioned. But we got together, and our drummer was like, he was really wanting to play the kit, I could tell. And I was like, I could see that making like a lot of sense with a lot of these songs. So let's try it, see how it feels. And we got together, and it sounded awesome. It sounded really cool. It was definitely more like, had more edge and more rock to it than some of the recordings, but it lends itself really, really, really well to like being played on a stage. So
Much more exciting for dance.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Dude,
so it's
Josh also like brought it those first. He brought like
Yeah.
8,000 drums. He
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
I'm gonna find what works best, because there's a lot of different like things going on. But he was like, I'm open. I'm
Yeah.
open to trying anything. Like that first like car unload was like, all right, we got half a Guitar Center in here. This is gonna be awesome. But he was like really going going for it. It was like, I got this djembe, I got this cone, I got this. He's got the wood blocks. He's got it. It was like super fun. Just,
The stomp box.
But I think allowing every individual to bring whatever they have to the table is really what's going to unlock the magic, you know, and you know, maybe we can do 5 times as much as one person can do, or make things 5 times cooler, or find one cool thing that otherwise I wouldn't have thought of, or something like that, you know. So it just opens up so many options. I love encouraging others to play music or whatever their passion is. And so I don't know, I do get some fulfillment from that too, like starting this band, and I believe it can like go pretty far, and I love like being able to provide opportunities for people. And so that's, if I'm being honest, that's makes me feel pretty good too. Yeah.
What was that first practice like when you're getting together and you're starting to hear your songs come alive, but you're not the one who's playing all the instruments? Like, you have other people doing this with you.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. And there's definitely moments, especially like when we're going on like crazy jams and just soloing, and like John or Sam are just slaying it, and it just feels so good. Like, because I'm just so used to playing by myself, guitar and singing, and to hear it in that environment with other people was really, really awesome. Yeah.
You know, that has I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm resonating with you.
Right
I'm just
on.
like, feeling that same kind of that awe-inspiring feeling of being surrounded by people who bring life to what you've done.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to like take your hands off the steering wheel a little.
Yeah.
Like when it's just you recording at home and you're like, I'm recording all these instruments and I'm mixing and mastering and I'm marketing and putting this out and I'm posting and I'm doing all that. It is then fun to like be in a practice and be like, LJ and Josh are driving all of this. Sam is soloing like a maniac and playing percussive banjo on top, and I just like step back and like hear it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't have to force this thing any
Totally.
further because it is just, it's going and I'm actually just in it.
Yeah.
I'm not driving it. I'm not pushing it. I'm just in it and we're all floating forward.
And to these guys' credits, like they're, and LJ and Josh too, everybody's really pushing this boat now. Like I don't have to be the one that's like solely like pushing things forward. Like everybody seems like super excited and on board with it. And that's been a really big joy for me as well too. Like I had this big fear going into it, like trying to get 4 other adults to be able to meet together, like any time of the week. Like that's going to be a hard thing to do, let alone like set up shows and stuff. Yeah. But like these guys have been awesome. And yeah, it's been super great to work with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have a completely random question for you, Sam. Are you familiar with the band Tall Tall Trees?
I feel like I should be, but I can't say that I am. I'll definitely listen to him now.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a single guy.
Yeah.
But I saw him open for Kishibashi a couple years ago, pre-pandemic. And he is a solo banjo player.
Okay.
And he does some of the most magnificent things I've ever seen done with a banjo.
I'll definitely have to check him out then.
Oh, you should. Because when Johnny says percussive banjo, my mind immediately went to Tall Tall Trees, because this guy, he uses a mallet on his banjo.
Huh.
That's nice.
And it is honestly some of the most amazing things he's incredible live.
You can do a lot of really interesting things with it, and the thing that people tend to forget about the banjo is that, like, if you go back in history, that's one of the first instruments was, the predecessor to the sitar and so many other things before it, and then eventually evolved into this. It's been everywhere. It was probably one of the most popular string instruments that ever existed, but now it's just, when you see somebody doing something new with it, it's so fresh. It's so exciting.
Well, and what he did was that he added so many effects and had so many pedals going that he literally made his banjo sound like a pipe organ.
And you can make a whole orchestra if you can get from there to there.
No, exactly. and I mean, it was so cool. And plus, he also made his banjo light up.
That's rad. I should work on that,
Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can work on that, man.
Yeah.
I've put neons underneath the Toyota before. I think I can figure this out.
It's kind of just like a hubcap with strings. Kind of do the same thing.
So, what drew you to the banjo?
My family's all from Kentucky, so there's quite a few people in my family that play, but like I'd never been around them. So more than anything, I just wanted to get more in touch with, family from down south and kind of understand more about it. And I sang good old Rocky Top at every karaoke get together our family's ever had, and we have karaoke get togethers, so I didn't have no excuse not to put work to it,
Anyone play a little Foggy Mountain Breakdown?
I can get after it, but it'll sound different. You might not like it. It's 2-finger, and he plays 3-fingers.
No, Sam's like the secret weapon. That first show we played, like Johnny's mic, just like the stand just broke in half.
Oh no!
So it just dropped, and then Sam just picks up, just starts, just picking and singing it. We just like got into a bluegrass jam, just like on the spot, and it was like
nice.
It was a great time.
But it was fun. That was like a cool. I don't know. I think that speaks to the band too.
For sure,
just like
absolutely.
covering for each other. It was like
We're
Johnny's
ready and
blitzing
we'll
on the
commit to
stage
the
and was
bit.
like, "We've never done this, but we're about to do this. So let's just throw in, man."
Well, that's the beautiful thing about playing live is that, and I mean, and if you have people around you who have seasoned experience playing live,
Right. Yep.
you know that if something happens, you just roll with it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the only way to get through it, right? I mean, you just got to get through it. So
Yeah.
you need to go
I also
forward.
think it's cool, like live shows, and the shows we played so far have been different, way different.
Yeah.
And
Every
the,
crowd's
the
been
vibe and the
day or
feel
night.
and the output. but each one, like every time you like play a song, there's no one way to play it, and there's no way to like win it. Like you can't beat a song, you can't win a song, you can't like you can just play it in the moment,
Right.
and play the hell out of it,
Yeah.
and like give it everything, and like it's feeling like this tonight, and that's how we played it, and it's like that was people were loving that. The Mousetrap show was so much fun. They have like we're doing the lights on the stage in such an interesting, intricate way, as if we had our own light tech. When we were turning out into a chorus, the lights were doing all the right things, and we were all getting a charge of it. It was just like we were rock stars up there, you know. And it was
Absolutely.
but it just gave it a
feeling.
completely different vibe and feel than McGowan Hall or the practice or playing in the studio or you know the next
There's
show.
so
It's
much energy.
so different, and I don't know. It's a cool part. I feel like we are embracing that pretty well
Definitely,
with like this crew of people.
Yeah,
For sure.
So what are you guys working on now? Because it sounds like you guys have something coming up.
Yep.
So what's coming up?
So, okay, this releases on Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so on Friday, we have our first single that we recorded together as a band. It comes out.
Awesome.
It's called Differences, and we're really proud of how it turned out and stuff. So it's a really, really cool track, real vibey, sort of mellow gypsy folk with reggae overtones.
Your
Yeah.
first
So
pitch,
you're right. Weird folk for weird folk.
Yeah, right.
The first time he's like, "I'm working on this new song. I think you guys are gonna like it." Like the end is like reggae.
Yeah.
We're still figuring out like each other's vibe a little bit. He's like, "There's like
like
reggae end of the song coming at you." We're like, "All right,
curveball in, yeah." So yeah, that comes out on Friday, and that'll be fun. But basically, the plan is to do a song, hopefully every month or two, have a new release out, and then we'll release an album in the fall or maybe winter, depending on how long it takes. And then, so yeah, we'll have new music coming out all the time, and then a show or two a month probably, and maybe a live album by the end of the year. And so yeah, definitely stuff coming up for sure.
So that leads me to ask, like, so what kind of strategy are you using to release music? Are you going to be kind of, like you said, every month or two? Is that going to be like a single release, or are you going to kind of doing the waterfall method? Or I ask because these are things that I'm thinking about myself, and I think that there are probably some people out there who are curious about, especially, I feel like we come from an era where albums were still a thing.
Yeah.
And we love the concept of the album, but that's just not how music goes these days.
Yeah.
That's not how people consume music is by the album. So do you take that into consideration as you're releasing music?
I mean, it used to bum me out a little bit that albums weren't really so much of a focus, but I kind of like it the way that it is now, where it's more single driven, because it focuses more on like the song itself, which is that's a good trade off to make. And then it also takes some of the pressure off. It's really hard to write and record a whole album and then release the whole album unless you do it in like take a week and everybody do it in one sitting or something. It just takes a lot of like mental energy and creative energy, but piecing it out like one song at a time is a lot more manageable. At least that's the way I feel. So yeah, basically what we're going to be doing is probably 5 singles over the year, and then 5 additional songs together to make the album.
Make the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's this about the live album? Are you just going to be collecting performances over the course of the year with the intention of dropping a live album at the end, or are you still conceptualizing this?
I mean, we have a recording rig, so basically any venue that allows us to use it, we can record individual tracks of all of us and stuff, and so I can go home and mix it and turn it into something that sounds a little more professional.
And the in-ears are amazing.
Yeah, we are. So yeah, basically we're gonna record every show that we can to use for social media, and I'll do like little iPhone videos around the stage and stuff. But yeah, that's so
that's exciting.
Yeah, the live album, it'll come naturally. I think whenever we have a show that just felt like really, really good or whatever, that'll probably end up being the live album. Yeah,
that's so cool. That's even something to consider. I mean, hearing you guys play, I can tell that you gel really well. So putting something together on stage and then having that play out over the course of the year for a live album at the end sounds almost natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels that way.
Yeah, we're kind of just doing things one step at a time, and I have like a rough idea of where things are going, but I kind of just know like the next step that we need to take. And
He says that, but he's just a mad scientist. Just like, and here's the next thing. Oh, okay, and then here's the next thing. It was like, oh, and here's a robot, and it's fully functional. And it has its own personality, and it does its own thing. It made cheese.
hey, yeah, I would take one of those.
Yeah,
That
no.
sounds-
Robot, cheese robot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and cheese, man.
I can't eat it. I'm thinking about it all the time.
Love it.
So we're about to listen to a couple of your songs. The songs "Awkward" and "Good Intentions." Let's talk about one of them first, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the other.
Okay.
So let's start with "Awkward."
All right.
Where did "Awkward" come from? And you had mentioned before that you feel like that's a staple song for you. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way?
I don't know. I feel like it really captures the vibe of like Malingo's music really well. It's just a little bit melancholy. It uses like the djembe and stuff, but I don't know. I just feel like it's lyrically, it embodies a lot of my character and kind of my upbringing and stuff.
And our listeners, too.
For sure. Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to it.
If you haven't seen it, go on the internet and find the video you put out when Awkward came out.
Oh yeah. The lyric video.
The lyric video is like a home video of you as a child, right?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like
really?
But I feel like when you put that out, I was like, that's such a funny thing.
Uh-huh.
That, one, you have access to,
yeah.
and two, that you use to promote the song.
Uh-huh.
But it also, like, I feel like most people feel that way.
Yeah.
At least in some situation, where
Right.
that's not like all the time. Or you're in a conversation, you're at a wedding, or you're in a meeting, or you're in a something, or, be like, a lot of people just feel that way. But
Yeah.
that is a vibe of it. That,
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked that you put that out there that way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so the video is of like my daycare performance when I was 3 years old, and it was like, Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy.
Do you have that?
Yeah. I was not a performer when I was 3 years old. Let me just say that. So basically, I just went on stage and just stood there and refused to do like any of the motions that everybody around me was doing, and just stood there like a statue the whole time. And so the video it's both hilarious and it's also really kind of sad.
Yeah, it is.
Because you see the look on my face and it's like I'm not having fun at all, But there's people, like, if you hear the audio, which it's not on the recording, obviously, but there, there's like people laughing in the crowd and stuff. Man, sorry. So it's just it's just one of those things that you laugh at, but you're also like feel bad for him or me a little bit too at the same time. But I just love that song. It's also the first one that we really locked down as a band, and felt really good together.
We got it pretty close because we didn't have a bassist for the first couple
Right.
practices.
Yep.
And it was going pretty good with the four of us, with these three guys and Josh on drums.
Mm-hmm.
And then LJ came in that first time, and just like the low
man.
end,
It was perfect,
and it was like, oh
Drove
my
it.
God, this song is awesome. And we just had control of it. It just was a instant song for the band.
Yeah,
to
for
jam
sure.
through.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah, it was
awesome
great.
feeling.
It was
It
great.
was super cool.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and we are going to listen to the songs "Awkward" and "Good Intentions" from Malingo, from Johnny, John, and Sam. And appreciate you guys being on the show so far. And let's listen to these songs. We'll be right back.
Right on.
I was called the quiet and the shy one for as long as Mel I've picked up down the road. If only I could travel backwards, try and reach the rest of me. Find the things that held me back and tear those demons down till there's none in the way. Lack of confidence, so unsure of what to say. I'll tell you with confidence, being awkward is okay. If only I could travel backwards, try and reach the rest of me. Find the things that held me back and tear those demons down till there's none in the way.
All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! 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 I wonder if I wasted all this time marching around in circles and never mind. I wish I could say I planned it this way, but it's not the truth. At the end of the day, things fell into place like they tend to do. Guess I've learned a simple lesson, if I must confess. I can't live on good intentions, though I try my best. Woohoo! 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 Weird how sometimes passion is a curse. Often a distraction from the work. Passion will fade, find what remains a constant thread. A hope and a dream, a pen and these strings, my daily bread. Guess I've learned a simple lesson, if I must confess. I can't live on good intentions, though I try my best. Woohoo! 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 Woohoo!
I can't live on good intentions. I can't live on good intentions. I can't live on good intentions. I can't live on good intentions.
Thank you. Well done.
And we're back with Malingo, Johnny, Sam, and John. I'm happy to have these guys on, and we just heard the songs Awkward and Good Intentions. We talked about Awkward before. Tell me about Good Intentions. This is off dash dash dash.
Yep. So that's off our latest album. Definitely a more bluegrassy tune, and it's nice to kind of mix some major key songs in in our set list and stuff. So it's definitely one that we really enjoy playing live. I wrote that song on the guitar that I was playing. It's my dad's old guitar, so it's like a 1962 or 3 Harmony, I think.
Very cool.
So yeah, I brought that guitar home, and that song just kind of fell right out of it. So yeah, it's just about basically just deciding to not sit idly by as life passes you by. Yeah,
That's so cool. That's so
Thanks.
cool. What does it sound like live? I mean, now that you got I mean, we heard a version of it just with the three of you, which was very cool, very kind of intimate, very acoustic,
Loud.
loud. So it's loud when
it's got
everybody's
more
there.
energy for
It was
sure,
a party,
like faster.
man.
Yeah.
The last time we did it, people were dancing. It's got that like the woohoo,
Uh-huh.
little hook,
Yep.
and everybody in the audience was like, woohoo,
Yeah.
on it. It was a riot.
picked
It
it
was
up.
fun. Yeah, it
It's
took
great,
No
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that song has got to be like one of the favorites to play live for sure. Yeah,
Cool.
It's just so upbeat.
yeah,
It's
real
just
upbeat.
fun.
It's just a good groove. Yeah, I don't know.
Cool. So it sounds like you have a very engaged fan base. For like your first show was in January,
Right.
but it sounds like they're pretty engaged when they're there. So I mean, how did this happen?
I don't know. It's wild, and it's really really awesome. To
If
see,
I could interject, there might be something Johnny's missing. Johnny does a very good job of connecting with people who feel a little bit outcast, because all of us at least have some outcast bone in us, and
Yeah.
we have a good habit of picking up people that feel a little knocked down, and I don't think he notices it yet, but he'll figure it out.
I like that. That's cool. That's good.
That's very cool. That's very cool. What would you say about the fan base, though? I mean, for those who have like jumped on board, and I mean, they've probably been with you for presumably the first few albums.
Some, yeah, for sure. Like definitely the album Faye registered with a lot of people. Because I was processing through my mom's Alzheimer's diagnosis, and so like being able to tell that story definitely like reached a lot of people in a very deep way, and so that was kind of like the first round of fans that I think came in was through that album, and but it's neat because like I like to say like Malingo appeals to both stoners and soccer moms somehow at the same time, you know.
Love it.
So
Love
we
it.
have a lot of different like variety in our fan base, just like we do in the band. Like all 5 of us are very different individuals and stuff, but it's cool to see that trickles out into the fan base as well.
Also, that we can blend it together,
Right,
all
yeah.
while still making something cohesive.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so cool that you're able to do that and be able to reach out to a broad spectrum of people, with the music. How are you reaching out in terms of art? Because it seems like there was a
right.
way that you're doing that.
Yeah, so we just released some merch a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago. But basically, the way that came about was I reached out to different fans on Instagram that were artists, and some of them have bigger followings than we do, and just asked if they would like to do a collaboration and split the merch of whatever um, whatever sales of their design were made
Sure.
or whatever. And so yeah, that's basically how that came about. But it was really cool because it ended up we have one of the artists is from London, one is from
Wow.
like Malaysia, one is from Colombia but lives in Vancouver, um, one is from where's the other one? I don't remember. Anyway, they're all over the world, which is really really neat to see.
My first inclination is to say, if you found someone from Malaysia or Colombia or something like that, you got them on Fiverr. But I mean,
No, these are like legit fans on
they're
Instagram.
fans.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
yeah, it was
It
awesome.
is cool.
Yeah,
It's
Like-
wild to see the Midwest go that far.
Yeah.
you wouldn't expect it.
It's strange to see like some of the songs hit and see different people respond to them
For sure.
online or social media is like terrifying most of the time to me. Just what it is and how it turns as a gear, but there's a lot of cool stuff that happens. Like Johnny was saying, like that's how he and Sam connected, and like that's how an artist who like I just really enjoy your music, and he's like, I really enjoy your art. Do you guys want to put something together? And it's neat to see like that kind of more of a community vibe, which I feel like is a lot more stable place to try to like create and put things out
No,
into
yeah,
the world is
totally.
like within a community rather than just at people,
It also
which I
does
think
a-
is all in the internet wants you to do is put it at.
Mm-hmm.
So, people can ride that wave, and that's not really that interesting. But I feel like Johnny's done so much to foster a community just in the band and in the music and in the people that get to listen and come together. And it's like every tentacle that reaches out and into this thing is like a healthy one. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a bad place. It's a
Yeah.
fun it's why the music's fun to play. It's why it's fun to be in it. It's fun to share it. It's fun to invite people. It's fun to listen.
Don't get me wrong, we still want to have a good time and get excited. But
Oh, yeah.
the community is
It's just cool.
it's better to build from a basic community anyways.
No, it is. No, I am 100% with you, and that's something that I strive to do with this podcast, with my music, is to try to build that community. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. So, I mean, it's fantastic to see it when you're able to be as successful as you are in drawing people in, especially around the world, into your music and into even into your own little world, and share that with other people and share other people's art through your art.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
has to be real. That I don't know. That sounds exhilarating to me.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been really, really cool. And it's been really cool to see all the different personalities of the artists come through too. It's like that's become like a main focus for me with Malingo is like encouraging authenticity, like with myself and with all of the band members, and like even like into the merch and art. Like I want it to be true to the artist and stuff as well. I think that just is always going to pay off. And so that is kind of like one of the guiding forces with that's been directing me, I guess, a little bit. But yeah, as far as like the art goes, it's been really really neat to see what some of them have done, and a couple of them are tattoo artists, and those are a couple of my
No
favorite
way.
designs as well too. Yeah, so it's really
That's
neat.
cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
They're involved. Some even the simple ones are like involved because they're making observations that aren't just like fleeting.
Yeah,
Like
for
it's
sure.
cool to look at like the art designs, be like that took some thought and some time and some talent, and
Definitely.
that they're like sharing with
mean,
it is very rad.
How does it make you feel knowing that someone has actually invested themselves so much into your own music that they've come up with this art?
Yeah, it's wild, and it's I don't know. It definitely provides a lot of fulfillment and meaning, I guess. But it's I don't know. It feels humbling at the same time because it's like I don't know. I'm just this middle-aged dude from the middle of nowhere that's just writing songs, and I don't feel like I necessarily deserve much attention for it or anything. But people really seem to like latch onto it and can identify with it, and that has only like encouraged me to step out there even more. You know.
No, that's so cool to be able to have that and to be able to kind of build off of that. That kind of goes back into the community that and the fan base that you were talking about before to a degree. I mean, it's like your fan base isn't just here in Indianapolis. Your fan base is worldwide to a degree.
Yeah.
And they are registering with you on a level that they are producing art. That is so cool. Or they're singing along in the hall,
Yeah.
in the little woohoos.
It makes the inspiration go both ways, because clearly, like, they've been inspired to do something, but then that inspires me to keep doing that too. So it definitely like feeds each other.
Yeah. So what are you guys looking forward to most this year? I asked this with the Arc of Ethylene when they were on, and so it's not often that I have more than one person in the booth. So what are you guys looking forward to individually and as a band coming into this year? We'll start with you, Johnny.
Okay. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I kind of just see things like a couple steps ahead or whatever, and so I kind of like it that way a little bit too, because it keeps the mystery as far as like where this thing is gonna go. I'm super excited about our show on March 28th at the Hi-Fi. I'm really anxious to play at that venue. I think it's going to be a really good show, and we've got an awesome set for it. So that's really exciting. But really, it's just to see like what we can unlock as a band. Because this is the first year that we've done it all together, and I'm really excited to see like what we can produce and what comes out of it for sure.
Mm-hmm. John, what are you looking forward to this year?
I think just more live shows like this. The March 28th show is going to be rad with Michigan Rattlers. That's going to be awesome. Yep. And then we're playing on a lot of people's favorite day, April 20th. 420. Yeah.
What's
what's so special about that?
I remember my sister, like holding out on my mom because my mom didn't know what that meant. Nicole did. But anyways, no. That's at the Hi-Fi Annex, so that'll be cool. Awesome. Outdoor gig.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who's all. The Palace is playing that. I can't remember. Antlerhead.
Yep.
So that'll be super cool. But
oh yeah,
just each time we play these shows, because this is like a new band on stage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs to draw from, and now we're at the fun point of like that first set. It's like, what other songs do we want to add? And Sam will be like, "Oh, I want to play The Wanderer." It'd be like, it's like, dude, that's such a throwback kind of like choice. Or everybody's kind of picking what they think would be fun to play, and then taking all that and then writing new music together, and putting all those nuts and bolts together in this band, and seeing just where it goes and how we stretch it out and how different shows twist us around, because they worked like we wanted them to, or they didn't work like we wanted them to, but we still made it happen. And like, that's just going to be a fun time to explore it together. And it's a fun group of people to explore it with.
Yeah, for sure. Sam?
I've got a little bit of stuff I'm doing solo this year, hoping on.
Very cool.
But more importantly is Malingo here lately. It's just been taking over everything. Just once again, that community feeling, even us getting to pick through the old catalog and stuff, it's still a way for Johnny to give us a little bit more leeway where he's available. So I'm just more or less excited to play a whole lot of live gigs, make a whole lot of wrong notes that I didn't know were actually right notes, and I could use them there.
Sure.
And add them to the repertoire.
Yeah. So what's it, when you guys play together, I know that you're working on new material already. What's it like as a band? So I guess this is more for John and Sam. Do you want to play the new stuff, or do you gravitate to the old stuff, or is there kind of a healthy mix? Because I would assume that with the new stuff, you're working together as a band, whereas with the old stuff, it's like you have that existing material that you're learning.
Yeah, I think that we are learning it, but there's also like recrafting it for this lineup of 5 people. And some of the songs are maybe guitar and banjo heavy, and maybe even nothing else. And we're now playing that with all 5 of us. Or some songs, go just one direction or another. And that, taking the old ones and recrafting them is like just as fun as contributing to something that never existed before. So I just feel like we're all kind of putting our own character into it.
For sure.
And even just hearing like Johnny just sing and play it on guitar, it's like, oh, it goes like this. Like, oh, that sounds way different than that alone is much different than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then it just creates different gears turning in your head. Like Sam was saying, like hearing a wrong note when you're practicing and be like, oh no, that's totally the right note.
Exactly.
That's the note forever. That's the perfect note. And
Yeah.
That was the note I never knew, and now here
just
it is.
jamming,
Yeah.
like having that time to jam together is like super, super fun.
Mhm.
That is cool.
For me, I like working on the older stuff, but that's more because I'm interested in how much Johnny's grown.
Mhm.
Like the way that he plays his newer stuff,
Mhm.
it has a whole different swing to it.
Mhm.
Like his timing's almost different. I don't know how to talk about it. All I do know is I want to hear new versions of the
the old
Wanderer
songs, yeah.
album and a couple of others from the back catalog that I'd just love to hear new. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Hey,
That's
Johnny,
up to the wizard.
Have you ever given any thought to re-recording some of the older stuff with the full band?
Well, so basically, the idea there is I love the idea of playing some of the old songs together, but as like I'm sure you can relate to this. Like oftentimes you record a song and release it, and then you think of all the things you would do differently in that recording. And so I think Sam actually kind of like reminded me of this one time. That basically like playing these songs live is sort of a new opportunity to do that without actually having to go back and re-record the whole song that probably nobody really cares if you release a new version of or not. Like,
But a live album.
exactly.
I was gonna say with
Yeah.
the live album that changes things.
It opens it up. It allows us to do something completely new, and yeah.
I think it's cool too with playing them live and keeping them live. Like you can ditch it, you can change it
For sure.
It's to go back and be like, this is how the song now works with this 5-piece. Is still like pretty prescriptive.
Also, it's hard for us to act like any of these songs are like the same song. Like these songs are as transient as we are. They
It's fun. Yeah,
they fluctuate and flow just like a human,
but
and I
they're
love
still
watching
like
it live.
super specific fence posts. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like the turns are hard and tight, and we know when to float and we know when to ride it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun.
Yeah, it's been a really cool set to put together. But yeah, we definitely need to add more songs to it because we have I think 12 songs or so under our belt live now. But like we've had someone reach out about a 2-hour show, so it's like if we want to do that, we've got to find a few more songs to do.
It's the fun part about being like a new band.
Yeah,
It's also the weird part about being a new band because your music's been out for like it was solo Johnny
Right.
Malingo, and this new era is very interesting of like you have a big online presence and a lot of like clout, in that manner. And then it was like, yeah, we don't have a video of a band playing. How are
Right,
you going to
exactly.
book another gig?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we got that now. And they're like,
Yeah.
cool. Can you do that for 14 hours straight? Like, no, we cannot. I also think it's like a pretty unfair. I like certain venues are like, we need a band that can play for 4 hours straight, all originals. Also, they're going to be serving dinner the entire time, so not too loud, but we do want drums. And like very specific show requests.
It's a book club, actually.
It's a book club. It's in a maternity ward, so it's, babies coming and going. You're going to be careful with that.
Oh,
We are playing in a maternity ward next week. For anybody that's interested. Yeah. It's going to be.
It's actually headphones.
of course.
It's called Newgrass for New Babies. And
it's all that pharmaceutical money.
all the
man.
pharmaceutical money's coming through.
Yeah, no.
You got to play where
absolutely.
you can play.
We're not above it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna take a quick break because this just made a sound.
Oh, cool.
It's stopped playing. So here, we're doing this live, folks. So I'm gonna move the camera real quick. That's something new.
We're professionals.
We're
Here.
professionals. This is what happens at our shows.
Right? Yeah.
Things
Exactly.
stop working.
And we
Roll
give it
with
our
it.
best.
Oh, see that?
That's great.
That is great.
Hi,
You can
guys.
still
We're
see the
back.
band. No one needs to see me. Oh,
You can
we're
get over
so
on this
back.
couch with us.
I could,
probably
but
squeeze
that'd
you.
be pretty.
That'd be weird.
That'd be pretty tight.
We talked about intimate too much already.
Yeah, we did. We did. Oh man, I had a question and I've completely lost
About
it.
the
The second
maternity
we get
ward
around-
show?
Huh?
About the maternity ward
Yes,
show?
it was about the maternity ward show. Which hospital?
Whichever one we can get into.
I hear Methodist is pretty open.
Okay, yeah.
We should try them
Slide
out.
right in.
Yeah. So, are you playing any of the new songs live yet?
Well, what do you mean by new songs?
Well, the new
Yes.
songs, the
Yes.
songs that you will be releasing.
Okay, yeah. So,
yeah.
yep. So the one that's coming out on Friday,
Mhm.
that one we play. That's in our set. Yep.
Okay.
And
that
then
was show tested
yeah,
and
yeah,
like worked really well. And I was
Oh,
like,
good.
oh, this is it. Yep, it's good.
yep,
Oh, good.
yep. So that one for sure. I mean, we're kind of piecing these songs out as we go. So most of the next ones are still in my head. So
Oh, okay. No, I
yeah,
follow. I follow. Yeah.
Yep.
So we were talking a little bit about this during the break. And, I'm totally asking for a friend. Because I'm in what is, I wouldn't call us a dad band, but we are dads. We all have kids. There are some of you who are dads.
Yep.
But you are not a dad band. Very much. You don't give the impression of being a dad band, for sure.
I don't feel like that's our vibe.
No, that's not your vibe. How do you not make that your vibe? Like I said, asking for a friend.
Right.
Well, maybe it helps that only a couple, like, I don't know, there's not all of us aren't parents,
Yeah.
So maybe that helps a little bit.
I'm hopeful, but
Yeah, sure. There
I
you
play
go.
I play banjo.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, we kind of like, I feel like our vibe live is like a folksy version of My Morning Jacket.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I
kind
dig
of
it.
like, I mean, they're older. They're probably dads. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we kind of like pull off that vibe a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think like, the Foo Fighters, they're definitely a dad band now.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
And I don't know if they're giving off dad vibes. I don't like to think that. Just because they're a little bit older than me.
They're a flip of the coin. You've got like Queens of the Stone Age as the barely holding on to not a dad band.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I am tracking with you. I am tracking with you.
Yeah,
I think it's about the energy.
It has to be about the
there's
energy.
there's some energy. I was like trying to think like what do I think qualifies a dad band versus others, because I'll say like one thing, I've seen a lot of dad bands, so they're just cover bands, and it was like
Yeah,
you were playing what you loved in high school, and I
Mhm.
love that you loved it, and that's fun.
And also,
And-
I still love it, even if
Yeah,
they
and I'm
Sure.
interested,
Oh, yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
interested, and that's fun. But I do know bands like you said that are like original artists, and they still kind of come off with the dad vibe.
Yeah.
But I guess the only thing I think is we're just cooler.
There you go.
Like it's
Well,
just
you are cooler.
Question
I'm
answered.
wearing a leather jacket and it's like 8,000 degrees in here. This is dedication, man.
That is sticking to the craft. And a Steely Dan
A
shirt.
Steely Dan shirt, which is also kind of a dad band move,
There
probably,
you go.
but
Well, I mean, they're
The kids like Peg.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's that's
No, I'm joking.
A lot
I'm
of the-
joking. I'm not.
no, you're not. No, a lot of it's funny. Like, so I was actually having this conversation with the dads in my band, and that their kids who are all in high school.
Mhm.
I know I got high schoolers. They're listening to classic rock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
It's the punks that used to listen to Iron Maiden made new music, and then those punks kids listened to that music, and they were like, "Wait, they listened to Iron Maiden?" And now like we're
Yeah.
back at it.
yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Well, it's like I remember back when I was in high school. It's like, yeah, everybody was listening to classic rock, and it was like, I was one listening to X103, but everyone else was listening to classic rock. And I'm like, what's going on here? But then the drummer, because I mean, who lets the drummer talk? But still, but
Sorry, Josh. We love you, buddy.
We love you, Josh.
I love you, Tim. He's my drummer.
Yeah.
But he actually made the comment. It's like it's the equivalent of kids who are listening to classic rock today. It's the equivalent of when he was a teenager listening to swing music.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Or
Which is
me
kind of funny
listening to
because
Hank
swing music was
Sr.
popular back when
Yeah.
we were
Yeah, yeah,
teenagers.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I just
I don't
like
know what
said,
the vibe
asking-
is. I don't know what that breakdown is. Like truly, you know it when you see it
Yes.
because it's like blatantly obvious. But I don't know. We just don't.
I don't
Fit
know.
I
that
know.
vibe. Do
I
you
know.
know? Oh, go ahead.
I know we give a little bit more space than a lot of bands do as far as like tonally goes. Everybody's very busy in a lot of music
Yeah.
these days,
Mhm.
whereas we're busy trying to find the best places to dynamically avert ourselves
Mhm.
from the music. So it might be just like practicing more space in the music
Interesting.
builds up extra energy.
I
Yeah.
also think too, if you were looking at like the people that have kids, I almost feel like we would have more of a family band vibe.
Mm-hmm.
than a dad band
sure.
vibe.
Yeah, totally.
And I think with like sometimes with dad bands, they are like, screw these. And I'll use yours. Screw these 5 kids. They're killing me. My wife just left on a plane and I don't know what to do. There's food on the table. I got to get out of here. And they go, and I don't know what your band's like. But they go, and that's their thing, and it's cool. And it's also like, I'm not picking on anybody I know or have ever seen, but it's like, this is the greatest moment of my life. This is just about as good as the time we went to county. Like, like they're like reliving something different. I do feel like with Malingo and other bands I've seen that have, like that vibe.
Yeah.
The like family vibe is like, oh, I just want our kids to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, I would be thrilled the day that one of them is like strong enough on a banjo or mandolin to be like, do you want to play that?
Yeah. Sit in on something.
Or be like, that would be cool.
That's
or be like,
cool.
it's like, well, the kids are back at the merch table, or it's like this finally a venue that kids can come and play.
Yeah.
Or they come and watch. It's like, that's fun for me for hi-fi having 18 plus, because that's where I'm at right now. It's like, so it's like, come bring any of your high school friends that are 18 or older. Like, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited to explore like that aspect of Malingo,
the
too.
family side of
For
it.
sure, because a lot of the songs like obviously like lend themselves well to that. But
also, go ahead.
Oh no, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
Fill the air. Fill the air.
I want all of our kids, like my son, he's a musician. I'd be like, come see these things.
Yeah.
Like, you can keep doing this. You don't have to go to school to be a musician, but you always play for the rest of your life. You can do this. You can be in these bands. You can do whatever you want. Like, be creative. Go do those things for your kids. Like,
also figure out some of our songs so we can have a
figure out some
smoke
of your
break.
songs.
Man.
Right. Like, it'll be cool for your kids. It'll be like, this can always be part of your life.
I cannot wait
it
for
should
that.
be part of your life.
Yeah,
like,
it
and
really
do
can.
whatever you want with it. That to me is going to be like a very fun thing to see.
For sure.
All of us just, and there's also just like a trust of everybody in the band to be like, yeah, I'd love for him to talk to Sam and get Sam's perspective on life, because it's so much different than mine. And same with LJ, and same with Josh, and same with Johnny, and same with that guy that hides in the corner sometimes when we practice.
A lot of communities,
Larry,
the dude.
a lot of communities these days get built around central subjects instead of getting built around central subjects. They're more interested in an ideological thing, whereas we're interested in learning all kinds of stuff from each other.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, the family thing will be really cool, and it is also like presents a unique challenge, because like obviously like I can't like go on the road and tour every night and miss my children's childhood,
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to like basically find our own path through that, and but that's gonna be really exciting though. I hope like someday we can get to the point where like we're getting paid well enough that the whole family can go on tour and we can actually like do that like for real. That would be really awesome. But in the meantime, I legit can't wait for them just to see me play live, like, which they'll be able to do on April 20th. Actually, that show is all ages. So
Johnny's kids are little ones.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
We children, because we
4,
hear
3,
them.
and 1. Yeah,
And they are we children. We children. Well, gents, we've actually come to the end of the show.
we did it.
We did it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And only one camera broke on us.
That's all right. Hold on. Do we need to like gesture wildly at the camera for you?
No, not yet.
Sure. We'll give it thumbs up.
You can give the thumbs up.
I'm not sure why
People on the podcast, people listening in the car are loving this part
Yeah,
of the show.
they are. And they'll love this because we're recording at the Engine Room Recording Company, located in Broad Ripple Village, just north of downtown Indianapolis. And they specialize in making your projects go. Podcasters, bands, audio bookers, rappers, singers, songwriters, and everyone in between. The Engine Room Recording Company has the engineers, the equipment, and the environment to fuel your projects. Check out Broad Ripple's recording studio by visiting for more information on their services, artists they've recorded, and gear they have at engineroomrecordingcompany.com. And be sure to visit their Instagram page by searching up at Engine Room Recording Company. Guys, like I said, I'm going to ask you this. Is there anything that we've missed?
I mean, I think we covered the main things I wanted to plug, but just a reminder, a new song called Differences coming out on Friday, and then come buy tickets to us at the Hi-Fi on March 28th with Michigan Rattlers. It's going to be an awesome show.
And at the Hi-Fi Annex.
Hi-Fi Annex on April 20th. Yep, that one's
420.
free. You just have to RSVP online. So
And if you listen
all
this
ages.
long,
That's fantastic.
At Malingo the band on Instagram.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Also, those shows are in Indianapolis. If you're not listening to this, you're not in Indianapolis. Although, if you're tuned into the podcast, maybe
Chances are
you know where you're coming from.
where we're coming from, yeah. And if you're not from Indianapolis and you're listening to this, thank you. And two, come to Indianapolis. We got some great musicians here. Check out more.
We'd love
more
to
of the
play
pod.
for you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Guys, thank you once again for being
Thanks,
on
Josh.
this week. I really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Love the sound. Gonna have to check you out live for sure. And I kicked myself for not going to the McGowan Hall one because it's just literally down the road
was
from
fun.
me.
Well, thank you for having us. We really
Yeah, man.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And all
Love
that you
being
do
on.
for expanding the local music scene and stuff. It's really great. Yeah.
Thank you. And a lot of that is due to the guys here at the Interim Recording Company. This is not part of the ad, but huge thanks to Anthony and Brandon for allowing this podcast to happen and doing it there. They're a big part of helping spreading the word of other local bands in the city. So,
Nice.
Appreciate your work, guys.
and that's going to do it for us. See my hand? That's me. That's Josh. Hi.
Bye, Josh.
Later.
See you guys, and we'll be back next week. My guest is Anna Owens. This should be fun. And she is an artist from, I believe, Greenfield. So we're expanding. We're going beyond just the Marion County borders.
Out of the bubble.
Heck yeah.
So tune in next week for Anna Owens, and we'll be back again. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.